Hey everybody, welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Columbus here in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Marshall Sutcliffe. I am joined in the booth by Ben Schwartz. Hi, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, and we're going to be seeing a little feature match action here between Shenhar, and that's him right there on the right-hand side. Platinum.
Yeah, platinum player Shenhar.
Yep, this guy he just graduated high school, and he's already platinum. He's going to be taking the next year off before he starts college to just play Magic. So we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Shenhar, and you're going to get a good look at how he plays here. He's playing red, white, and blue tempo aggro, as you want,
Delver.
Delver definitely covers it as far as like if you've ever seen a Delver deck, it's a lot like that. On the left we have Brian Demars. You get a look at him there. And he's playing, I don't know if this is his own brew, but this is not one of the decks that you see that often in Modern. It looks like a Bant list. It's kind of a, I don't know if mid-range is the right word. It has control elements. It has middle ground creatures. It has acceleration. It can certainly put some beats down with Tarmogoyfs, and Noble Hierarch enables a lot of that thing. Vendilion Click beats down pretty well, too. So, we're going to see kind of how it plays out here and what role it takes. But this is a deck I haven't seen, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it as well. So, looks like players are deciding whether or not they want to keep their opening hands.
Keeping? Thank you. Okay.
And...
Oh, I didn't see that he has Taxi. Oh, he has one probe. All right. So Brian has drawn his one.
He's got a bunch of 1, 2, and 3 O's in Brian's deck. Taking a look at it. Brian is considering his keep decision. I think he only has a 1-lander there, with his 1 land being a basic island.
Yeah, so a 1-lander and a basic island is probably a ship even with a probe. If you have some way to sift through your deck, you could consider it, but even then, I always feel like it's a mistake,
I mean, it would be
you've got the Serum Visions, and you're like, we'll just have to get there, and then you brick on it, and it's like things can go downhill pretty quickly.
It would have been a snap keep if it were something like a green-producing land and a Noble Hierarch and a probe.
Yes.
That would have been an easy keep, although maybe against Shahar's deck, that would have been a poor keep, because Shahar has Lightning Bolts, Path to Exiles. I guess Path to Exile is not as good, but Lightning Bolt to get rid of the Noble Hierarch and maybe Mana Screw him.
Yeah, that's true. And even if he doesn't bolt it immediately, Shahar does also have 4 Lightning Helixes, right? So he can do that after the fact as well.
So yeah, Brian going down to 6 cards here with his Bant deck.
Shahar's kept. I haven't got a chance to see his hand yet, but
maybe he'll pick it up.
One of the keys that we're looking for here out of Shahar's hand is, does he have a 1-drop?
Yep.
He runs a full 8. He's got Delver's Secrets and Step Links, and these are critical early plays for Shahar's deck. If he can do that, he can make that a big part of his game plan, where he protects his early threat and just allows it to keep beating down, and he can just ride those to victory.
Yeah, but it looks like Shahar does have a Delver in hand, so let's see. Turn 1 Delver.
Yes, sir.
Of Secrets.
So that's a pretty ideal opener. If a Delver transforms, then it's going to do a lot more work than the average Step Links does. Speaking of Step Links, he just drew one.
Yeah, and Delver continues to not want to transform on camera for us.
Yeah, we have, I don't think the whole weekend we've seen a transformed Delver at the earliest convenience. I see a Snapcaster, which I believe is going to the bottom, and I think a land on top.
I can't imagine he'd want to keep
that would feel very weird. Maybe I just saw it wrong.
It's possible he might want to keep a fetch land.
Yeah, it was a Scalding Tarn.
Okay.
So, and if you're gonna keep a fetch land and plan on using it, then the card that you do otherwise is irrelevant.
He does have a Geist of Saint Trapped in hand, so if he wants to be able to cast that on turn 3.
So he just knew that thing was going to go away anyway.
So Delver not flipping in the near future.
Right. All right, so we see a Breeding Pool join the table, and is there going to be a path?
No, but I have to imagine that there's going to be a turn 3 play for Brian. He drew.
Hopefully it's not that Sword of Feast and Famine that he has. That's not...
Yeah, he's got 4 lands and Sword of Feast and Famine in hand.
Oh, so it is the sword? Oof. I mean, the sword's great. Don't get me wrong.
No creatures, though.
Just, not what you want as your only play of the game.
And also tapping out allows Shahar to go animal with his Step Links.
Yep.
So he's going to crack in there for 5 damage here. Step Links plus.
Oh, it was actually a steam vent, so it was 3 damage. Yep. And then we see the guys come down. Things are looking firmly in Shahar's favor. I see a sort of a poorly timed Noble Hierarch here.
Well, it's going to pick up the sword.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 2/3, which is certainly relevant against a Geist of Saint Traft.
But if Shahar's got something like a lightning bolt in hand that can take it out still.
Which he does.
Boom. And Delver transforms into Insectile Aberration.
And we're just going to scoop it up right here.
Brian's seen enough.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, again, one of the keys to Shahar's deck is getting down that early pressure, and he was able to do that in the form of a Delver of Secrets into a Step Links. Now he even turned 3 a Geist, which is really nice as well. But that being said, like that early pressure just makes it really tough. And Brian's deck just fell flat. Like, it just didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he had to mulligan once. His second hand had a lot of land in it and not very much action.
And that was all she wrote.
Yep. So what do you think these players are looking at when they look at their sideboards?
Let's take a look at the board here. So the first question is does Shahar go for his, sort of transformative sideboard here, where if you guys haven't seen this yet, he has 4 Gifts Ungiven. He has an Unburial Rites. So, and then he has 2 targets to get back with him, an Elesh Norn and a Sphinx of the Steel Wind. So, if you've never seen this happen, you can play Gifts Ungiven, and you can, basically get up to 4 cards with it. Your opponent chooses 2 of them, which then go in your graveyard. But since it's up to 4 cards, you can just pick 2 of them. They both go in your yard, and one of them is a fatty, so either Sphinx or Elesh Norn, and the other one is Unburial Rites, and you can flashback Unburial Rites, for paying 3 and a white. So.
We've got level 3 judge.
Oh, okay.
Rashad.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not actually up to 4. Rashad just chimed in and corrected me. So you're actually supposed to get 4 different cards with with Gifts Ungiven.
But you can fail to find.
But you can basically fail to find because it's a hidden zone. Your opponent isn't allowed to see what you're searching for and see what's in your deck. So you can say, oops, didn't have it.
Yeah.
And then you've just got the 2. They both go in, flashback Unburial Rites, and you can get the fatty of your choice. Now, the question is this the right plan against Brian? I don't know. I'd lean towards not. Brian has he has Cryptic Commands in his deck that can bounce the fatty back into Shahar's hand and make it really tough for him to get it back down. Sure, Elesh Norn does some work against Brian's deck, but he is running Tarmogoyfs and such. I don't know if Shahar knows that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is he didn't see Brian's deck do anything that last game.
He saw
has no clue what's going on.
And then he saw his mana base, but he didn't see enough.
And the sword. Shahar's definitely going to bring in that Smash of Smithereens as one of.
Yeah. But I don't think he's actually. I don't think he's going to go for the Imperial Rights package here. I just don't think he knows enough.
He might just board in Gifts Ungiven, though. Is it
like a value spell?
Yeah, to be able to win a sort of long game, to have some sort of attrition.
That could be for sure.
Let's look at Brian's sideboard. What do you think he's looking at?
One Memories Journey. What? What is that for? Yeah, you need to look that one up. So 1 in a blue. Instant. You shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard into your library. It flashes back for a green.
Maybe as a graveyard hate card, because it's target player. You can target your opponent's.
Oh, he's worried about
Malira Pod, maybe?
Okay, I don't know. That's an interesting one. That would make some sense, like being able to, like a Reanimator strategy or something like that. He's also got 2 Tormod's Crypt, so he's definitely thinking about the graveyard on some level. A couple of Nature's Claim, a Seal, Negate, Spell Pierce, Sphinx, a Rock's Warmonk, a Phantasmal Image, a lot of 1-ups here. A Gaddock Teague. I mean, it doesn't seem like he has any real, daggers for Shahar's deck here.
He's going to board in Kitchen Finks and Rock's Warmonk for sure.
Yeah, those make a lot of sense. The Kitchen Finks is I think, is the best card. So the Oust can reset a transformed Delver.
Looks like the players are ready to head to game 2. Shenhar up a game over Brian Demars.
Very quick game.
Yeah. Brian sort of stumbled because of the mulligan. But maybe both players will keep their openers this game.
See a Hinterland Harbor on Brian's side. That's not going to be good enough for a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, but maybe something else.
Looks like both players keep. And Brian is going to start things off with a Scalding turn, pass the turn.
I see a Delver of Secrets and a Step Links, and make that 2 Step Links in Shahar's hand. So it looks like he's going to be able to get off to a quick start here.
Yeah, so I guess that's an interesting question. If you're Shahar, do you play Step Links first or Delver first? Looks like Shahar came up with Step Links.
Yeah, if he's got the fetch, it can not guarantee, but it's going to be attacking for 4 if he wants it to be. The Delver of Secrets, It's a lot more contingent. I think that you probably just want to play the Step Links first.
Also, Step Links gets worse as the turns progress. Delver is always going to be a 3-2. Step Links only has a certain number of turns every turn that you've got to land to start attacking for damage. So you might as well play that one first to get in quick points.
I agree, sir.
So let's see what Brian comes up with.
Step Links is really hard to block, too.
Yeah. Brian, I think, has a Tarmogoyf in hand, but Tarmogoyf would only be a 0-1, or a 1.
And he's going to oust the Step Links.
Oof.
Can I read that? That does not see a lot of play.
Put it second from the top in your library.
Yeah, and there's some
gains,
life gain involved, right?
3 life.
Yeah.
So Shahar going up to 21 here. And draws Isochron Scepter.
Ooh, I think that's his one of. Yeah, he had one in his board.
But if he's got something like Lightning Bolt, I saw him play that against Gerard Fabiano in the feature match area. Gerard had Blood Moon out, Shahar had nothing but an Isochron Scepter on Lightning Bolt. And every turn, Shahar was trying to get in 3 damage, but Gerard drew a Miracle Bonfire of the Damned to be able to X Shahar out of that game.
Oh, wow. That's pretty sick.
So, looks like Shahar's going to fetch out an island with Scalding Tarn. Let's see what he decides to do. He can play another Step Links.
I think it's, Step Links, Delver of Secrets.
Yeah.
He could also get that Isochron Scepter going as soon as possible here, but doesn't it feel like you want to start advancing your game plan before you do that?
Yeah, a lot of his creatures get worse and worse as the game goes on because they're so small. They're aggressive creatures. If he had something insane to imprint on the Isochron Scepter, it might be smart to get that out there now while your opponent is tapped out.
Oops. Is that? Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it looks like the only thing he could imprint is a Serum Visions. That's not too powerful on Isochron Scepter.
No.
You want something like either a Remand or a Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix.
Yeah.
So Shahar plays Delver of Secrets and Step Links, preparing to deal some damage next turn. What does Brian have?
Finks.
Restoration Angel,
Finks and a Restoration Angel, it puts a big crimp into Shahar's plans for sure.
Yeah, Restoration Angel seems really good against Shahar's deck.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brian just leaves 4 mana up, Shahar's got to know that Brian has to have Restoration Angel. But if Shahar is a fetch land, that Step Links can become big enough to battle.
So, do you think this is greedy by Brian to pass a turn back?
I mean, what would you do?
I would main phase it.
The Restoration Angel?
I think I would actually just play the Finks myself. I would just land the Finks and just be done with that, because the Finks can trade for a Step Links if he didn't have a fetch. Now, he did in this case, but if he just had any other land, it trades for it. And I like that possibility, because that means you're holding back the Step Links. You might get hit by the Delver. You might not. If it doesn't transform, you're not. And you've completely stabilized the board. And if for some reason he does hit a fetch, you can just throw it in front of the Step Links and then Restoration Angel at the next turn, blink it, take the counter off, gain even more life. It's like a 6 life point gain on your side, plus 4 prevented. It's like preventing 10 life. Now, as it sits, if Shahar decides to attack with his Delver, I mean, Brian can blow him out, but I don't think Shahar's going to fall for it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Shahar's going to do that. He's just going to attack in with Step Links, and Shahar's just going to keep the damage at 2. Hold that fetch land up for another turn.
And I mean, and it makes good sense. And the thing that worries me here now, this isn't in play now because there's another Step Links, but Shahar's got Remand. I mean, if he goes fetch land, attack with my guy, and you go, haha, Restoration Angel, and then you get remanded, like, that's a big hit. You're going to take, he could have taken 7 damage there. Like if Shahar transformed and had a fetch land, and I know that's not like super likely, but it happened. The deck's built to do that kind of thing.
So it's interesting here that Shahar is being somewhat conservative with how he's playing those Step Links. And the end of turn Restoration Angel for Brian allows him to untap and have a bunch of creatures at his disposal. He's got Kitchen Finks, Noble Hierarch, and Tarmogoyf, so he can play both Kitchen Finks and Tarmogoyf this turn.
Oh, I like that. And there's really no, Spell Snare is the only thing he would have to fear, and I mean, we know that Shahar doesn't have that in his deck, but...
Yep, Kitchen Finks.
Landing Finks is a big deal, though.
Brian will go up to 18. And Tarmogoyf, which is a 2/3 right now. Sorcery and land are in the graveyard.
So this is the upside to Brian's line. You know, he now has all 3 of these creatures in play, where if he took the line that I wanted, which was the Kitchen Finks, he wouldn't have been able to play both the Restoration Angel and the Tarmogoyf. So he's able to use his mana more efficiently this way, and you know, get around. He got around a remand as well.
Yeah, this blanks pretty much all Shahar's creatures. Shahar doing something that you talked about earlier in the day, looking at the top card with Delver, realizing you don't want it, using your fetch land to shuffle it away.
It's a subtle play, but it's just another one of the things that goes on the checkbox of awesomeness that is Delver of Secrets.
Yep. Allows you to sort of opt. That was the name of the card? Yeah.
Yep, opt, yep.
I had it in a cube draft last week on the Magic Online Cube, which unfortunately now is over, but it was a lot of fun. I played a lot of Cube.
I also played
more
a lot
than
of
was
Cube.
probably healthy.
Yeah, I agree. I had a pretty nice weekend at home, and I was going to go do stuff, and then I didn't go do stuff.
Yeah, I'd get home from work every day. What am I going to do today?
Well,
Right now
I guess Cube's up.
Cube's up. It's only here for a week. You know.
Yeah, might as well.
Better do it. Yep, M13 will be coming out shortly on Magic Online. I'll be doing some drafts from that.
Next Thursday, I believe. Pre-release draft start.
With their new pricing as well. I'm pretty happy about that.
I'm really happy about that. So it looks like Shahar's going to fetch out Plains. Oh, now he's going to look with Delver. This is before the Delver trigger.
Yep.
He knew the card off Serum Visions that he didn't want. Place another fetch land. He's going to crack it. These Steplinkses are going to get big.
They are. They're going to be
6/7s.
4 or 5s. Oh, did he already play a land this turn?
He fetched that Arid Mesa during his upkeep, I believe.
Right. 6 7s.
That's going to be bigger than any of Brian's creatures.
That's pretty insane.
Brian's going to be able to block one of them with Kitchen Finks to sort of fog, but
the other one might just get through. I mean, I guess. Do we know how big Goyf is right now?
It's
it looks
a 2/3.
like it's a 2/3. Yeah, sorcery land. That's it.
Yep.
Is there is that Oust up there?
Yeah,
for
that's
the other
Oust.
one? Yeah,
Oust
that's
is
also
sorcery.
Yep. Sorcery from Rise, one of my favorite sets.
So, and wow, Shahar had a Path to Exile that we didn't see. He's going to put that on Scepter. That's gigantic.
Ooh.
He's going to be able to path away one of Brian's creatures every turn.
So would you just path away the Finks right now?
Yeah, I might, but it doesn't look like Shahar's going to make that.
Because I don't think that Brian has any blocks if you do it that way, right?
No.
I was curious.
Looks like Shahar's just going to be content with getting 6 damage in and then allowing Brian to gain 2 more off the Finks. Passes it back to Brian. What could Brian have here that'd be
He could have a Bant
devastating?
Charm.
That would be good. Bant Charm, destroy target artifacts, one of the lesser used modes.
Uh-huh. Second Hierarch comes down. Now, Brian faced a pretty scary turn that last time, right? You know, 2 huge step blinks coming through. But right now, they're 0-1s again. And, you know, Shahar's sitting on 1 card left in hand. Those step blinks aren't nearly as scary as they were last turn. And I think Brian, especially given that the Path to Exile is going to be repeating pretty often.
Oh, Shahar tries to Path to Exile the attacking Restoration Angel, and Brian's got a mana leak.
So it does actually cast it?
Yep. Puts it on the stack like a normal spell. If it has Kicker, you can pay Kicker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The old combo deck was Orm's Chant and Scepter to lock your opponent out of the game, and you could pay Kicker to make sure they didn't attack.
Attack you.
Looks like Shahar draws another Path to Exile while transforming Delver of Secrets.
Shahar's got to be pretty happy too. Like he pathed to, you know, take out that angel, but he got his opponent to use a mana leak on a spell that he can cast as many times as he gets to untap during the course of the game.
Yep.
How big is this guy now? 3/4. Yeah.
So Shahar's going to attack with Insectile Aberration before Brian has the chance to block. Path to Exile that Restoration Angel. Both players sitting on 11 life here.
Shahar could even path away his own, like if he gets a crappy creature that he doesn't want to.
A Stepling. I mean, Steplinks is still.
Another Steplinks, he can do it to himself to activate the other 2 Steplinkses.
Yep.
I mean, probably not going to come up, but it's something that he's probably.
It
has in
could,
his
right?
arm.
Like, if Brian taps out for a big guy here and then attacks with Tarmogoyf, he can end of turn use the Path Exile in his hand to get rid of the Kitchen Finks, and then on his turn, maybe path away a creature he drew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just something that has summoning sickness or whatever.
Attack for 7. I mean, likely that's not going to happen, but these are the types of things you have to think about.
Right.
Think about all of the angles. If Brian were at 7 here, that'd be a kill.
Yeah.
For Shahar to do something like that.
Right.
Looks like Shahar's sitting on a Remand and a Path Exile in his hand, while Brian figures out what he wants to do. He's going to oust, another oust on Insectile Aberration.
Yeah, so he's going to reset it, along with putting it a couple cards deep.
I mean, Shahar's got that Remand, but that doesn't do anything. Brian has a number of different ways of producing white mana still. And Brian's going to go aggro. Now, Tarmogoyf's a 3/4 because instant has been added.
And another Path to Exile. That's got to be pretty heartbreaking for Brian.
Yeah.
He knows that he's now down to 1 creature left, so if Shahar gets to untap, he's going to be able to Path to Exile the Finks, and then it's like he can only play 1 creature per turn, you know?
Yeah, you only draw 1 card a turn, so
Right.
last I checked.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to catch up from there. Still has 2 Noble Hierarchs, but
I mean, one way around it is Brian has Vidalcan Shackles as one of in his deck
okay.
that he could use to make sure nobody has creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe win through another one of maybe Jace Belrin.
He could even Shackles, have it remanded, and then Shackles
Fetch
again.
land.
Ooh, a fetch land. That's pretty spicy here.
Scalding Tarn for Shahar Shenhar will give +2/+2 to both of his step links. And Shahar will beat in, threatening 4 points of damage, +4 more maybe if Brian doesn't block.
Is Brian completely out of cards?
Yeah, that was his last card that ousted.
All right, so he's just going to see if the Noble Hierarchs are going to jump in the way here or not.
Yep.
If not, we should see Shahar crack his fetch, right?
For sure.
I mean, there's just the coast is clear, get the damage in
Well,
there.
yeah, it will also drop Brian to 3, allowing Shahar to make Lightning Bolt an out, or instant kill.
Yeah, so we should expect Brian to block at least one of these.
Yeah, I have to imagine. And if Brian blocks, then Shahar keeps that fetch land for the following turn
Right.
to be able to sacrifice and get a land to trigger the Step Links again. So yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to block 1. Shahar's not going to throw away that Step Links, or that Scalding Tarn. Just deal 2 to Brian, dropping him down to 9. And pass it back with Remand up. What? And that's the match. Brian has nothing to deal with it.
We'll do it.
Shahar continues on, going to round 15 with only 1 loss. There you get a good look at Shahar Shenhar,
Breathes a little sigh of relief.
Grand Prix Salt Lake City, Grand Prix San Diego champion.
Yep.
Looking for